And since I've been here, I've been learning a lot. One of the interesting things I've learned today among the lawyers is that although I pray not to need it because I don't want to be in court, but when I meet justice or any member of the bench who's a woman, I will address her as my lady. Somebody give me a round of applause for that. Yeah, did I learn correctly? Thank you. It's always fun being among lawyers. So this program being hosted by NBA IKEJA branch and the Building Collapse Prevention Guild, IKEJA cell, promises to be an interesting one. And I urge us all to follow it through with the best of our attention. Additional to the people my dear brother Barrister Abijo has recognized, I would like to invite to this side of the hall some other members. We're going to start with the representative of the Honorable Commissioner, Lagos State Ministry of Physical Planning and Urban Development, Dr. Oluyinka Olumide, who is being represented by the Permanent Secretary, the person of Engineer Wole Shotire. Please join us on this side of the hall. Thank you very much. I'm very sure I got that pronunciation correctly because minutes ago, I went to reconfirm it. Sir? Yes, yes, please. This way, sir. Thank you very much, sir. By the way, he's our guest speaker, and he led by example. He was here before many of us. He was here well ahead of time. Thank you very much, Engineer Shotire, for making it a date with us. The next person I'll be inviting to this side of the hall is the President, Building Collapse Prevention Guild, person of Town Planner Sulaiman Yusuf. I know we can do better than that round of applause. Thank you very much, Mr. President. This side, please. Thank you, sir. Next person we'll be recognizing is the pioneer president of Building Collapse Prevention Guild and the past president of the Nigerian Institute of Building, and someone who's very, very passionate about his profession and all the professions and professionals in the built environment, the person of Builder Kunle Awobodu. Thank you for joining us today. Please stand up for recognition and please come around to the front seat. Okay, Builder Awobodu stepped out. Please, when he comes in, help chaperone him to the front seat. Thank you. Next person is the chairman, BCPG, Lagos State branch, the person of Town Planner Joseph Akonde. A round of applause for him. Yeah, another person is someone who joined us from the abroad. Allow me to use that expression like that. She's a passionate builder. I've known her since forever. Her name in our profession is a household name. And then not only did we exported her to go and represent us abroad, and she has been doing us proud. We've been hearing about her and seeing her all the time. This is someone who I very passionately recognize. She came in yesterday and she didn't bother about rest. She said she has to be with us here today. The person of Professor Mrs. Abimbola Windapo, a professor of building in South Africa. Please, a round of applause for her. Next person we'll be recognizing is one of our very senior engineers who's been with us at BCPG and is always with us, person of Engineer Shola George. A round of applause for him. And last but not the least, who we can call the political powerhouse of BCPG IKEJA cell, the former coordinator and one of the strongest personalities in the Nigerian Institute of Building today, the person of Alaja Bolarinwa. Thank you for making it a date with us today.
Thank you very much, Architect Bola Arileshere. So moving on, I should like to quickly recognize also in our midst Dr. Jide Martins, who is the Director of Public Prosecution, Lagos State Ministry of Justice. Thank you so much. We recognize you for the honors. We equally have Mr. Harun, who's expectedly representing the Attorney General of Lagos State. Please, can we give it up for Mr. Harun? He probably stepped out of the hall. Thank you very much. He's equally a director in the Ministry of Justice, Lagos State. So that we do not waste more of our time, can we have Mr. Oluwaseyi Olaomi, the chairman MBA IKEJA branch, give us his welcome address. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Yemi. I would like to adopt the very well established protocols and to profusely thank my Lord for the second day running, like Abijah did say. We are most honored, my Lord, to have you in our midst. You called me as early as 9 that you were ready. Please, can we put our hands together for my Lord Justice? Sholade, please. Thank you very much. We are very grateful. And Lenesik, we are very grateful too. We apologize for not starting as scheduled. I overheard you making the remark that you did not know IKEJA, they like to waste time like this. We are very sorry. You know, it was the women thing in the morning, and we had to allow them the time that they needed. Thank you for coming. We are most grateful. And I want to thank all our former chairmen, past officers of the branch. This is the second year running that we have been doing this with the building collapse people, and we thank them also. I would like to mention that my brother Architect Bola here and their team have been assisting us with the everything that you see us doing here at the Secretariat, because we did not fall into the past mistakes that we have found ourselves as a branch. So every steps we took, we have contacted them to come see it first and to give us the best hands to handle the projects, and they've been very helpful. Please put your hands together to appreciate them. Thank you very much. Without much ado, I think that we are behind time. I want to welcome us all once again and to thank you very, very much, and to also remind you that this Law Week will continue tomorrow, and on Thursday is the Alao Aka Basharu annual lecture. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. So, Architect Arileshere, please, can you just take?
Thank you, sir. So without taking much of our time, we'll call on Town Planner Joseph Akonde to give us the opening address. Town Planner Joseph Akonde, by the way, is the chairman, BCPG Lagos.
Good afternoon, everybody. I want to stand on the existing protocol. And first of all, I have the great honor of welcoming the Building Collapse Professional Guild, the National President, the Honorable Commissioners, and all the General Managers, the eminent jurists from the bar, the fellows, members of all the serving professionals in the built environment, and their corporate members, all the guests, invited guests, the gentlemen of the press, more importantly, the Building Collapse Professional Guild, IKEJA Cell, and the Nigerian Bar Association, IKEJA branch, celebrating today in the Law Week and collaborating with BCPG in an occasion like this in our advocacy program on the theme, Public Governance in the Troubled Time, Safeguarding the Rule of Law and Protection of the Built Environment. I congratulate you, and may we all live and stay alive together to witness many more law weeks in the mighty name of Jesus. Today, we are privileged to have in our midst eminent, very senior public servants as member of the panelists for this year 2024 Law Week, who have been choosing to enlighten us on the rights and privileges as a panacea centered on our day-to-day activities about maintaining a sustainable living environment. In light of this foregoing, I would like to advise us to listen attentively and make judicial use of our time to further ruminate on the best way forward to chart the appropriate course for the environment. Once again, I welcome you all. Long live BCPG, long live MBA, long live Lagos State, and long live Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Next, we invite the coordinator of BCPG IKEJA cell, person of architect Dr. Bolaon Piel Oyelaki. Ladies and gentlemen, please give my coordinator a round of applause.
Thank you. I would also like to stand on all existing protocol. I want to, on behalf of IKEJA cell, BCPG IKEJA cell, I want to appreciate NBA IKEJA branch for our standing relationship, because this has come to stay. Every year we come together to organize an event like this, and we do not take it for granted. I just want to encourage every one of us to take advantage of this opportunity for us to do a proper advocacy for ensuring that we establish zero collapse. Thank you.
Brief, succinct, well articulated. Another round of applause for our cell coordinator. Okay, now, so we will take now our guest speakers. I was asking some time back, just a minute back, that, sir, are you ready to deliver? And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? He said, yes. He said, yes. I reconfirmed it again. He said our speakers are ready. Ladies and gentlemen, tell me you too are ready to hear what they have to say. Thank you. I trust the lawyers. They never disappoint. Another round of applause for the lawyers. Yeah, so now we'll be bringing in the permanent secretary, Lagos State Ministry of Fiscal Planning and Urban Development, person of Engineer Wale Shotire. Thank you very much.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Please permit me to stand on the already established protocol. When my commissioner said I should come and represent him, and I wondered, what do you want to come and tell lawyers on the rule of law? And I was like, okay, isn't this one the IKEJA Ibai? I mean, they are the ones that understand the rule of law. We are just hiding under what we know, and we are getting them to support us. But well, yeah, I am, and I will say what I know. So, first of all, there's a popular maxim that says, where there is no law, there is no offense. and we are talking about the built environment. Are we just going to leave the environment to develop on its own without any guidelines? It's not possible. But then, the built environment again is such a big topic. But for this purpose, I will limit this speech mainly to the planning area. And because of that, the Lagos State has a law, the Lagos State Urban and Regional Planning and Development Law, year 2010, as amended, which is what we rely on, and which is what we expect everybody who wants to bring up any development in Lagos State to rely on. It has, in its ministries and agencies, bodies that are expected to regulate what is happening within this planning, within the planning, development planning sector. Presently now we have about 4 agencies handling different aspects of the regulation. Well, let me just, well, I'm sure you all know most of them. So I'll just give an example. And I ask myself that, what if I go out to purchase a car and I want to buy a Toyota Corolla 2014 model? You know, I pay for it. I'm given the receipt. The dealer sorts out everything, the particulars, the insurance and everything. And everything there states Toyota Corolla 2014 model. And when I go and pick up the vehicle, it's a Toyota Corolla 2016 model. Sounds nice. It's better than what I paid for. But again, I'm driving off. And as I'm going, I see a checkpoint with policemen, well-educated, very thorough policemen. Immediately, my heart will begin to beat, boom, 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 boom. Are they going to dictate that my papers are not correct? Because obviously, those papers are not correct. But that is what is happening in the building sector today. That's just where there's a small difference. So we have cases where, again, I'll give another example. You go for the same Toyota Corolla, and you get there, you've paid for it, and they give you a Land Cruiser. Big difference, right? So that's why we have laws which we must learn to adhere to. We have cases now that it seems as if regulation is too hard on the people. And some people are crying back at the economy that, we spent so much money. But why didn't we stick to the proper thing right from the onset? Why would you buy it out? So again, this goes to lawyers. I'm sorry, I'm not here to attack you. I should be able to, I'm trying to identify with you today. I also have some black on me, so that I'll look a bit like a lawyer. But why would you assist a client in buying a property and he doesn't have an approval? That property is illegal. So have you done a legal job? That's the truth. Let's ask ourselves this question. Maybe you don't think approvals are necessary, but the law exists. And like I said, you know the law more than me. I've only just read that part of the law. There's so much more about the law that you know. So why would you assist the client to buy a building that doesn't have an approval? It might even have an approval, but not an approval for what is on ground. And that's why I gave the similarity of a 2014 Toyota Corolla and a 2016 Toyota Corolla. So we see a lot of people come and flash approvals, but that is not what is on ground. Is that right? Is that proper? We also see cases where the use is completely different. He has an approval, maybe for a residential building, and he's using it for a different purpose. And again, we assist in purchasing such a property instead of insisting that the original owner should go and do the proper documentation. So these are one of the things some of the things we need to look at. We need to assist members of the public. It's quite true that, or I believe that a lot of members of the public are not actually aware of the law. They are not actually aware of the requirements, even in putting up structures. And so you just find out that a lot of them, when they are accosted, it's like, we didn't know this exists. We didn't know this is what we were supposed to do. And so that's why they are, again, encouraged to get professionals who should also know what the law says. Right here today, I'm happy I'm able to honor this invitation on behalf of the commissioner that is being partly organized by the BCPG. They are at the forefront of collapse prevention in Nigeria now. But again, why am I mentioning them? They too should be in the forefront of advising clients. I know we have a lot of buildings that have been built by quacks, people who have not registered with any of the professional bodies. But when we see it, we need to make noise. We need to alert the necessary authorities. We have officers on ground. Some of you feel they are too harsh. Well, I don't know, maybe harsh is the wrong word, but the truth is, if they are doing their job, then they have no choice. They'll just have to do what they have to do. We might have one or two bad eggs here and there, but the truth is, if you are not contravening in the first place, they are not likely to be able to punish you in any way. So once you contravene, whether it is the movement from a 2014 Corolla to a 2016 Corolla, or from a 2014 Corolla to a Land Cruiser, a contravention is a contravention. And I'm sure the law supports that. There are no big contraventions or small contravention. Well, I know the punishment might differ, but it still remains a contravention. So once again, I would like to ask members of BCPG, members of the legal profession, we need your support. This has to do with all of us. And when we are talking about, it's not just a question of building collapse. In recent times, we've been having a lot of fire incidents in markets, in churches. Only 2-3 days ago, we still had another one. And why we think it might not concern us? No, it does. And I'll explain why. We might not be there when it's happening. But you know what? Your brother, your sister, your son, your daughter, your father might just be there at that time. And so whichever way, it will affect us. It could be a benefactor. Somebody who was going to be your helper. So whichever way, we are losing. That's not only it. Looking at it from the economic point of view, I'm not an economist, but I sat down one day and I thought, when we demolish houses, when fires burn down buildings, money is being burnt. You know what? We say there's no money in the country, and you are burning money. That same property that is going to be rebuilt is going to be built with money, and that same money could have been used for something else. You know, if it's building an additional shop somewhere, it has opened up avenue for other people. It has opened up employment for other people. But the owner of that money has to go and use it to rebuild what was burnt. So whichever way, the country stands to lose, wherever there's a mistake. But thank God the Lagos State government now is looking at the domestication of the National Building Code, which will speak specifically to our own issues in Lagos. And I'm sure very soon it will be out. We'll expect all members, all professionals, whether in the building sector or even in the legal profession, to encourage clients to properly adhere to what is stated in these regulations. It's not just for the fun of it, but their purposes. You know, I've talked about collapse, I've talked about fire, and I started and I was saying, okay, do you know that even ventilation, if a building is not well ventilated, they are slowly killing the people in there. They are losing lives. I mean, it might not be obvious. So when they are looking at your drawings and they're saying, no, this does not have adequate air space, this does not have enough windows, there's no cross ventilation here, don't just look at it that these people are being difficult. No, some of them is what they spent 5, 6, 7 years learning, and there's a purpose. I mean, not getting adequate ventilation, you won't die immediately, but you are dying slowly. If you were supposed to live maybe 80 years, you might have cut it short to 75 years. So you might not quickly notice, and people will still say he or she lived long, but he or she could have lived longer. And so these are the things we look at, and you see them coming out in the domesticated building code. So once again, I would like to thank you for inviting the commissioner and your attendance here. I see my own personal local government chairman here. Welcome, sirs. And I would like to say the commissioner appreciates your inviting him, and we want to encourage you all to please help the government to get the built environment right. Thank you very much.
Can we give it up one more time, please? Thank you so very much, sir, for that concise delivery. I'm sure this is... Thank you so very much, sir. Without having to waste our time the more, I should just... we will have in a minute now the representative of the Attorney General of Lagos State in the person of Mr. Adebayo Arun, who will deliver on behalf of the Attorney General the speech. And just quickly recognizing in our midst, I'm so sorry, sir, some of our dignitaries. We have in the house the chairman, Kosofe local government, who is also a lawyer, Mr. Moyo. Sorry, Ogunlewe. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. We equally have in our midst one of our panelists, Dr. Babatunde Ajayi, who is the GM LASEPA. Thank you, Dr. Babatunde. He's been here for a while. So I will just leave the stage for Mr. Arun to deal with this paper. Thank you very much, sir.
May I stand on already established protocol? But before doing that, may I recognize the presence of my Lord, Honorable Justice A.O. Sholadoye. As a civil servant, I must seek for the permission of the audience. I don't want to leave here and get back to the office and be issued query. I have some of my boss here. I have the permanent secretary, Lagos State Ministry of Physical Plan and Urban Development. Good afternoon, sir. I also have a direct boss who ordinarily should have been the one to deliver this paper. I have Dr. Bajide Martins, Director of Public Prosecutions, Lagos State. Let me also apologize for the absence of the Honorable Attorney General. He was here earlier on. He thought his session would have been 10 o'clock in the morning, but he came in around 10 o'clock and was there till like 11:30 before he had to leave to join Mr. Governor on Lagos Island for another program. So he has asked me to read his papers. So permit me to just scan through the paper he has prepared. And if there are any errors there, please, I will accept responsibility. But if you find the paper very interesting, please give the credit to the Honorable Attorney General of Lagos State. It is a privilege to address you at the Nigerian Bar Association IKEJA Branch Annual Law Week on the theme, Public Governance in Troubled Times, the Rule of Law and Protection of the Built Environment. This theme is particularly timely given the challenges our nation faces today, economic uncertainty, social unrest, and governance complexities. As highlighted in the case of Buhari and others, against Obasanjo and others, 2003, LPELR 813SC, law in a civilized society serves as a catalyst for social engineering, ensuring respect and observance within our society. It is the cornerstone upon which stability, orderliness, and fairness thrive. These are indeed challenging times for Nigeria. The signs of troubled times are evident everywhere. It must, however, be acknowledged that the current deteriorated state of our nation is the result of years of mismanagement of the country by successive past administrations from the military era to the present dispensation that neglected production, manufacturing, and mechanized agriculture. The allies like us who held political offices during the period that shaped the policy of each administration are collectively guilty. The citizens are also complicit as we all look the other way as things got from bad to worse and our value system deteriorate continuously. How do we explain the industrial estates in the state turned to event centers and places of worship, flagrant disobedience of laws and regulations that guide our environment? The troubled times driven by high cost of living and depreciation in our currency has no doubt led to a crisis that threatens human lives and health in our country. It has also led to a public governance crisis as the government has to balance the need of the people in governance. Therefore, there is need for all of society responses to the challenges of the time, hence mobilizing public purpose response that will test the relationship between government and the public and between government and interest groups. Otherwise, we shall be confronted with a crisis that could cause the public to lose confidence in its government, especially where the public began to question the government's credibility as well as its effectiveness. The truth must be told. People in government alone cannot solve the challenges. It takes two hands to clap. In recognition of providing good public governance during this challenging time and based on principles of transparency, accountability, and responsiveness, a concern for efficiency and effectiveness and respect for the rule of law, the Lagos State Ministry of Justice recently organized a Justice Reform Summit themed Enhancing the Administration of Justice for Economic Growth, Investment Protection, and Security in Lagos State, with a special panel to discuss a topic similar to that of the IKEJA Bar. The Ministry of Justice and the IKEJA Bar are moving in the same direction to drive justice reform. I am happy to collaborate and build our partnership to ensure that the resolutions at the end of this program are considered. Law, as we know it, is the fundamental upon which every civilized society thrives. It relates to every human endeavor to ensure stability, orderliness, and fairness. In other words, there can only be an orderly society with the rule of law. Like every other sector, the built environment is regulated by laws and regulations to guide the activities of the professionals and citizens who live and engage in economic activities in our environment. The built environment is a significant sector contributing to humanity's sustainability. Therefore, it must be regulated to avoid loss of lives, loss of investments, injuries, and other hazards occasioned by building collapse, demolitions, land grabbing, and environmental nuisance. Lagos State, in ensuring the regulation of the built sector, established some agencies to ensure a safe, secure, and sustainable built environment. Some of these agencies are: 1. Lagos State Ministry of Physical Planning. 2. Lagos State Building Control Agency. 3. Lagos State Material Testing Laboratory. 4. Lagos State Urban Renewal Authority. 5. Lagos State Ministry of Environment. 6. Lagos State Safety Commission. 7. Lagos State Task Force on Land Grabbers. 8. Lands Bureau. And 9. Lagos State Planning Permit Authority. The responsibilities of these ministries, departments, and agencies vary with different needs of citizens and at different stages of the built environment to ensure a safe and sustainable city. Let me highlight some of these agencies and their responsibilities. 1. Lagos Ministry of Physical Planning and Urban Development. The ministry oversees and regulates buildings and physical planning sector in the state through its agencies to ensure conformity with the state's extant laws and regulations. The relevant laws that apply are the Lagos State Urban and Regional Planning and Development Law, Lagos State Physical Planning Permit Regulations 2019, Lagos State Building Control Regulations 2019. Lagos State Ministry of Environment. The sustainability of every city is fundamental to its prosperity. The Ministry of Environment is a significant regulator in the built sector to ensure that the environment remains in a sustainable manner. The relevant law is the Environmental Management and Protection Law of Lagos State 2017, and it has numerous provisions concerning the management, protection, and sustainable development of the environment in Lagos State. Part of its function is to control and maintain all drainages, canals and their setbacks, wetlands and right-of-way for water bodies within the state. We have Lagos State Safety Commission. The Safety Commission is responsible for safety in the built environment, with particular reference to the building and workers and artisans during construction, by ensuring that buildings are constructed in a sustainable and safe manner to avoid hazard, building collapses and domestic accidents. Lagos State Special Task Force on Land Grabbers. The unit is to ensure that economic potential of properties across the state is not burdened by any form of security threats by land grabbers under any guise. The state, in recognition of the protection of citizens' proprietary rights, established the Lagos State Special Task Force on Land Grabbers to preserve and protect the proprietary rights of citizens and to reduce the menace of land grabbing in the short term and eradicate it in the long term through diligent prosecution and enforcement. The respective government ministries, departments, and agencies are equipped with the appropriate professionals to ensure compliance with the extant laws. As legal practitioners and advisors, it is our responsibility to guide our clients on the need to apply and obtain the requisite permits and approvals for construction of building and avoid sanctions with attendant consequences of losses. I understand there have been some concerns regarding the current application processes. Let me assure that the present administration of Governor Babatunde Olusola Sanwo-Olu has put in place internal measures to address and enhance the application procedures. Our goal is to ensure that the application processes are conducted seamlessly and efficiently with the aid of technology. In conclusion, let us leverage the rule of law to navigate these troubled times effectively by promoting transparency, accountability, and adherence to laws. We can build a more resilient and prosperous Nigeria. Together, let us uphold justice, protect investment, and ensure a sustainable future for all Nigerians. Thank you, Mr. Lawal Pedro, SAN, Honorable Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Lagos State.
Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to ask for another round of applause for that presentation. I was having so much fun, I was considering writing, sir, would you mind staying another 5 minutes? Well, so thank you very, very much. You see, they say time flies when you're having fun. I was checking things out now, I'm looking at our program, and I realized that just like that, we have come to the end of this session, and then we're about to start the panelist session. But before we do that, some people walked right in while the presentations were ongoing. I'd like to recognize them. First person is the past chairman, Building Collapse Prevention Guild, Lagos State, the person of Architect Solomon Ogunse. Yeah. Thank you very much for joining us. Also is the cell coordinator, Building Collapse Prevention Guild, Koshofe Cell, person of Chief QS Soji Adeniji. Thank you very much for joining us, QS Soji. And then, of course, past coordinator of the Yaba Cell of Building Collapse Prevention Guild, and a veteran by all means, a dependable contributor to our programs in the Building Collapse Prevention Guild, person of engineer Dr. Victor Apan. Thank you for making it a date with us. Okay, so to close this session, I'll make an impromptu call on our president, Town Planner Sulaiman Yusuf, to close this session, and then we'll start the other session. Please, a round of applause for Mr. President. Just in a minute.
Thank you very much. Just want to say a big thank you to IKEJA MBA for this collaboration. It's important that we carry the advocacy to the grassroots, and we assure you that we will do that. as we move ahead. Thank you very much.
One second, please. Yeah. Thank you very much. So, I think this is a good time to release the both of you, sir. Thank you again for joining us on this side of the hall. A big round of applause for Mr. President and Engineer Shotire.
With that, we are going to start in just a few seconds the session where we'll have the panelists discuss the purpose for which we are here, the rule of law and protection of the built environment. But before that, may I humbly recognize in our midst one of our senior members, highly revered in the person of Mr. Adeyinka Olumide Fusika, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. Thank you so very much, sir, for taking our time to join us. So, Architect, so what we are going to do now is that let us invite all of the panelists to the podium, and then we can kickstart. Let's do a lot of time management.
Thank you very much. You see, the lawyers are tired, and I'm so disappointed. When you see them in court, they are not tired, but they are tired of our program. They want us to manage time. We'll manage time so you don't sue us. All right, so for the panelists, we have some of our panelists around. Kindly join us on this side of the table, on this side of the hall. First person I'll be inviting is the person of the General Manager, Lagos State Environmental Protection Agency, LASEPA, Dr. Babatunde Ajayi. Please, a round of applause. Thank you very much, sir. As convenient. Next person is the General Manager, Lagos State Planning and Environment Monitoring Agency, LASPEMA, Town Planner Daisy Osho. Please join us on this side of the hall. Ladies and gentlemen, you can do better. Keep that applause going. Ladies and gentlemen, someone say FF is around. I understand that MBA IKEJA doesn't get what I'm saying. Somebody in MBA IKEJA, please say FF is around. Ladies and gentlemen, permit me not to allow Barrister Bijo introduce the great Mr. Femi Falana, SAN. Thank you very much for joining us. Now somebody say FF is around. So the next person I'm introducing is Town Planner Kehinde Oshinaike, the General Manager, Lagos State Fiscal Planning Permit Authority, ably represented by Town Planner Victoria Ajose. Thank you very, very much for being a part of our program today. Yes, so yes, ma'am. Okay, so I'll take the panelist session from here. Then I believe we can all hear me. Yeah, all right. So, you know, we're among lawyers now. And today is, okay, thank you. Today is for the women lawyers. So I dare to start from the women's side. Of course, ma'am, for the sake of time management, should any one of you, our panelists, prefer for another panelist to answer, because I'll just take the questions serially. Should you prefer for another panelist to answer, please just indicate and we'll pass the mic, okay? Thank you very much. Okay, so I'll start from contextual understanding, the rule of law, and protection of the built environment in view of building collapse, demolition, and fire incidents in Lagos State, with specific emphasis on issues of building approval and permit processes and the demolition activities by the Lagos State Agency. So, a contextual understanding. Can you provide an overview of the recent trends in building collapses, demolitions, and fire incidents in Lagos State? Yes, that's the question for you.
Good afternoon. I'm from Lagos State Physical Planning Permit Authority. We're the one in charge of granting planning approval. And recently, we noticed a lot on collapses. And I can say this time around is better than what we used to have. Because in 2014, we have that of a synagogue that took a lot of lives, and in 2021 we have that of a 360 degree, and which took a lot of lives too. But recently we just have a pocket of demolition, just like collapse, just like maybe individual buildings. Substandard building materials, employing quack and so on. And for fire incidents too, we envisage some now recently, and we have that of Lagos Island that it was so rampant that claims a lot of lives, and we know that the causes too is our people's, I can say the carelessness, then electrical fault also. Then for demolition, we have different types of demolition. Some individuals do apply to us to demolish their old structures, or to demolish maybe just buy a building and you don't like it, you want to have a new structure, so you can apply for demolition. We should go through our process and we'll give you permit to go ahead. Then government also demolish some structures for public interest, and in doing that they pay compensation. And this trouble time, government in its own to ease economic this problem that we are facing now, government don't even, for paying compensation, they don't really demand for what we used to demand for. Now, to pay compensation, to claim the ownership, you can just say, just stand in front of your building, take a picture, and we use that instead of asking you for all these, your formal approval, your this and that can even delay the payment. We don't do that anymore. So I think that is, I think that is all about demolition, fire, and collapse. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Good afternoon, everyone. I would just like to add something very small to what she said, particularly around fire incidents in Lagos. So I represent the Environmental Protection Agency of Lagos. I'm the general manager. And a lot of the fire incidents we've had in recent times have been caused by gas cylinders and improper handling of flammable material. I'll give examples. Like the one in Ajegunle recently claimed about 23 lives. It was someone selling or decanting gas, cooking gas, next to someone frying akara inside a container. Now, regulating them, and I'm putting context to it so that we can see where the law sort of intersects. Regulating them has been such a headache because they are petroleum products and they are solely exclusively regulated by the federal government and its agencies. So whenever the EPA tries to regulate them, you get letters from NMDPR saying you cannot step into these areas. So it was until we then pulled out a lot of data to say that over the past 1 year, we've had more than 27 incidents specifically caused by careless handling of petroleum products. We then got an understanding. Up till now, we don't have a proper legal standing to regulate that space. Until that space is properly regulated, we're going to keep having people carelessly handling petroleum products, and then these fires will not be totally contained. So sometimes we need to, maybe the state needs to have firmer regulations that would find the loopholes in the federal ones and then allow us to operate. Thank you.
Thank you too, sir. Yes, please. Okay. Again, I want to just lend my voice to this. Lagos State Planning and Environmental Monitoring Authority, that's an agency under Ministry of Physical Planning and Urban Development. This is the agency that is managing or charged with the responsibility of regulating, determining, and of course, to manage the use of informal urban spaces. We have two types of land, the formal land and of course the informal land. So the formal lands are those ones that are titled, and then of course they have the names of either individuals, corporate bodies, or even MDAs attached to it, and they are defined. And of course we also have the informal urban spaces. These are areas that are contained in the ODPs, and the ODPs, I mean operational development plans of the Ministry of Physical Planning and Urban Development. And these spaces are actually created for the purposes of protecting critical government infrastructures, for the purposes of future expansion, and of course, to receive either on or under urban furnitures, and then of course, for the purposes of livability, ease of movements of goods and services, environmental security, and all of this. So, to address some of the, and we know that today, none of us can be so confident or even be happy of what we have on our informal urban spaces today. It's so chaotic, so misused, just like my friend just said, abuse. The same case happened somewhere in Ladipo, the same gas and Mamalakara, just down the road. And then, of course, you know the two, collocating is a recipe for disaster. So, and exactly, that's what we have. So, by the grace of God, this agency, the bill is already on. Mr. Governor has asked for it, and of course, it's going to the House so that we can have a law around informal urban spaces and incidental open spaces. Because that's part of our urban phase and our physical environment has been left over the years. And Lagos State Urban and Regional Planning and Development Law, Section 2E and Section 2N of that particular law speaks to. The 2E says that the Ministry of Physical Planning and Urban Development shall determine the use of, shall determine places of infrastructural facilities and economic activities. So what is happening on our informal urban spaces are economic activities, and is huge in Lagos. And of course, you know, the informal sector people are actually there. And the economy or the GDP of Lagos is resting also on that part. So we must, the state government, Mr. Governor, is really taking serious attention in that regard to make sure that we have that space regulated, monitored, and also we're not saying people shouldn't use these places. We're not going to sweep off everybody, but it must be put to what we call an efficient, effective use, so that we'll not be recording all these problems of explosions, misuse, and all those things that we are having today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. It's always enjoyable listening to town planners when they talk about environmental issues. And also it's going to appear that, you know, I have a barrage of questions for town planner Mrs. Ajose. Please bear with me, ma'am. The next question is directed to you, although our other panelists will be more than welcome to discuss it. Can you describe the current building approval and permit process in Lagos State? What are the key requirements?
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everybody. It's a pleasure being in the midst of lawyers, because most of you are our customer, what will I say, our clients. Most of you do come to our offices.
And I'm sure they are so interested in this question in particular.
And I even know, most of you even know our requirements and what we require for approval. Yes, you know, we have a window now that we said 10 days planning approval, and it's, we do follow it up, and that is why we implore the developers and individual property owners to have gone for their investigation, to have maybe come to our office, maybe with their own survey, ask for information, get what they can use that property for before applying for planning permit. And when we want to apply for the planning permit, we expect you to have a survey plan, which is key, and that is the one you will first of all maybe bring to our office. We will chart it for you. We will tell you the zoning, we will tell you the height, we will tell you what exactly you can use that property for. So with that, you go for your architectural drawing, you submit your architectural drawing, 5 copies, then mechanical and structural drawing if applicable. If it is more than 2 floors, you need that. Then with that, you need a title document. But now, if you don't have your title document like C of O, we have a window. We can give you a provisional approval. So you can use receipt that you collected from Omonile or deed. With that, we will give you a provisional approval until you have your C of O. So if you submit all that, then we evaluate it. Our officers go for an inspection, then to go through a process, and within 10 days, there are some that requires clearance from other agencies. That one is the one that can have a bit delay. But if you have done your pre-submission, you have gone to, if you know it's very close to a canal, then you go to Ministry of Environment to get a drainage clearance. If you have done all that, go to drainage. If it is very close to maybe high tension wire, all those ones, you go to relevant agencies, collect your clearance, then attach it before coming to us. That is application. If you have all that within that 10 days, you have your approval. But if you don't have that, that is when we have issues, because you will still be writing, bring this, bring that, all those, and that is why approval keep on, long than expected. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. And anyone wants to learn about? Okay, thank you. Thank you then. It begs the question then. 10 days actually sounds very attractive to me. But the fact that this is what I do every day, I hear a lot of people, especially developers, say it doesn't work. They say there is always one thing or the other causing delays. So my question now would be that what long-term strategies should the Lagos State government implement to ensure that permit processes are resilient, transparent, and effective in protecting the built environment?
Thank you, sir. To do that, we have a window, which is EPP planning permits. It is online platform that you can, be in your house, apply for it, submit all your documents, pay your assessment fee, and we process it. But
I'm wondering why the entire room is not giving Lagos State a round of applause.
It's just because our people are not, and that is why we are going out, campaigning, encouraging people. Because with this, we can even curb all these corruptions, all this delay, all this intransparency, all these issues. We can curb it through this our platform. We are encouraging people to go for this online platform. It is working. Yes, it is working, sir.
Another round of applause for fiscal planning. Thank you very much. Town Planner Osho.
Sorry, let me just add to what she said. See, one thing that I know for sure is this. Many of us, and I'm among the lawyers here, many of us, majority of the documents we bring to physical planning permit authority, most of the documents are not complete. Number one, there are some of them that are statutory. For example, you're talking about tax. Most times, the time of our people are delayed at that gate. That is most times the threshold. You have somebody who is building a 500 million naira worth of building, and then the tax assessment or the tax payment is saying, say maybe 500,000 naira. How do you put that together? So the question is this: if all the documents are okay, are in order, and your architectural drawings, structural drawings, other technical drawings are also in order, because they are going to pass through a check, the tables. And if after all of these are okay, then you can now begin to count your 10 days. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Okay. So 10 days after we pay taxes and we submit all documents. Thank you, sir. So,
ma. For the tax issue now, what we will resolve to now is that we will process the application, grant it an approval. You will see it. We will just show you. Then we say go and go and resolve your issue and come back for your approval. Just for us to meet up with that 10 days. You will see the approval. We will grant it without that tax.
But you won't release it,
man. You won't release it until you have that tax. But you know that our target, 10 days target is compliant.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. So, ma'am, for easy coordination, ma'am, I'll note the tax question for you so you won't forget. Please don't leave yet, ma'am. So, the role of regulatory bodies. About the ongoing 90 days amnesty program for building regularization and permit, can you give more insight and explanation on this program?
Thank you, sir. The 90 days amnesty program is just an opportunity. It's a unique opportunity for property owners, developers to have their approval without paying penalties. You know, they're supposed to pay penalties because initially they are not compliant. And that penalty is supposed to be the assessment fee times 4. But during this amnesty period now, we are encouraging an individual, a developer to come in without paying any penalty. That is just what the amnesty period is for, sir.
Okay, so it's still the same 10-day planning approval process, but no penalties.
No penalty, sir. No penalty.
Okay, thank you
and
very
much. The document submitted is the same thing.
Yeah. I'd like this to go through Dr. Ajayi. What do the regulatory bodies play in the building approval and permit process, and how can their effectiveness be improved?
Thank you very much. Like
yes, sir.
The Honorable Attorney General's speech said, there are several agencies in the process of the building approval, and you would go to the appropriate one when you need clearance. For the Environmental Protection Agency, for instance, if you are building a church, it shall not be complete until you get a clearance from us, particularly if it's in a residential area. We will not, if you don't do that, then after completion, your neighbors will keep coming back. If you are building a club, an event center, even a mosque, you should soundproof it. You need to commit to, trying to soundproof it, or committing to soundproofing before you complete the building. So I think that all the agencies involved know their roles, and everybody knows where he comes in. The essential thing really is to try to digitize this process. It makes it a bit more efficient. It also makes it objective, so that I don't want to say it removes corruption completely, because generally when you solve a problem, people will still find their way around it. But it reduces it to the barest minimum. If you digitize a process, it will, physical permits, LASPA is doing now. They have digitized theirs. I think LASPEMA is also digital, I'm aware. A lot of my own complaints also are digital, and the things that we regulate. Now, at some point, we may need to all sync, and then we know that there's one stop shop, one digital stop shop, where from the comfort of your home, you can apply for permits, and you may not necessarily have to show up unless they come for inspection. So I think the digitization that most agencies have embarked on now has sort of made things much easier, and the goal really is to make sure that people embrace that process, and you don't have to go through a third party. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other of the panelists would like to say one or two things about this last panel? On what? Okay, thank you, sir. Yeah, my next question goes to all three panelists. We've talked about the EPP, the electronic planning permit, and You, Dr. Ajaisa, just spoke about the digital process and all that. So it means to say we're already in the groove. But these days, what everybody is saying is AI. AI is pretty much everywhere. So what specifically would your agencies and regulatory bodies be doing to further improve the system, make it more transparent, make it more efficient, probably even drop the approval waiting period to a day or two? How can we leverage on AI and stuff like that to make it better?
Well, so in the League of General Managers, I think I'm probably one of the youngest, and I think that with youth comes a bit of strength and the ease of trying things or taking risks. I think that AI is not going to solve all problems, and it's not going to take everybody's jobs. I also think that there are many things that will not be replaced by AI so quickly. And our jobs, or the jobs of civil servants, is not going to immediately be replaced by AI. It's going to take a while. AI also is a learning platform. I mean, it learns from action and activity. I'll give an example. So I digitized the process of noise complaints in La Cepa, for instance, because noise pollution is like 5% of the mandate we have, but it takes about 90% of our time. At least 100 complaints every day. So I digitized this, and I said that you can report noise with an app. You download the app, you record the process, and then send it to us. So that app has, it has a noise meter, which is called decimeter. It measures decibels. It has geolocation, date and time. And it also is a video app, so it shows the event place or where that problem is happening. In the first 2 weeks of pilot, I realized that somebody reported a specific bar next to his house like 12 times. So I dug in deeper to find out why and how. On further inspection or further investigation, I realized the guy actually had a music sound box beside him. He increased the volume so high, and he was showing me video of a club next door. He just wanted to victimize that guy. He wanted us to go and shut it down and do those things. AI is not able to figure that out immediately. I mean, the tech solution will not figure it out immediately. So it's going to take a while. I think government processes will learn, we learn the digital process and we perfect it over time. So I'm not in a rush to jump on AI. And that's what I think. I'm not in a rush to jump on AI. Many of the things I think AI can decipher, I have already sort of put it in place. A lot of the time, we need AI to detect a fake document, or, let's even use fake documents. There's a way people will fake a document in this Lagos. AI will not see the difference. Yes, there used to be Oluwole back in the day. But, I mean, we are so crafty, AI will fail. People will fake the signature of the general manager, and I've seen it. A sound control permit. People will fake your signature. Even you will doubt whether you signed it or not. So, I mean, while I'm open to embracing technology and solutions, I'm not so quick to jump on AI, but I think that our processes will get better. It can only improve. There's hardly any process that regresses, so it can only improve with improvements in time. Thank you.
Okay. AI. Well, the way I'll look at AI for our own environment, is still a very, very long walk very, very long walk, because AI depends largely on data. And then, of course, we're talking about even that data domestication. Peradventure, okay, let's look at some of these vehicles, these brand new vehicles of this time. Some of them, the engineer that designed it can never ever think that we could have so much big crater on our roads. And by the time that Mercedes Benz will run into one, bam, run into the second one, two, bam, bam, the vehicle will stop. Because ab initio, that engine or the engineer that designed it didn't have the local content of Nigeria. So let's now come to AI. AI for me, yes, that's the trend. It's going to make things work faster. But I know that for us to put that into our development of our environment now, I think it's a big issue. For a long time, we're still going to be having, okay, we are still, as we speak today, we are still gathering data to have what we call to make everything computerized. Even our people out there, they're not also in sync with the latest techie. So the challenge that we have is there. AI is not going to do anything for now. I mean, let's be frank. In our own climb here, it's not going to work for now. But at least we may be looking at the future, even where we have the whole lot of technology there. It's still under serious regulation. Like somebody was telling me, the last I saw this last video of Ashwaju and one other president, and some people just put something there and people say Ramaphosa, snub our president. So somebody now sent it to me. I mean, that person knows that I'm an Ashwaju apologist. He now said, see your president. See now, they've ignored him. I said, look, one day, they will put you on another woman using AI, and they will post it to your wife, and then you will be in trouble with your wife. That's what AI can do for you. So at that point, we raise the matter. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Town Planner Joseph, any comments on AI in fiscal planning?
Well, we'll just be trying to enhance it. I believe we will be there.
We'll get there.
We will get there.
Okay, ma.
Because we are just trying to enhance it, training our officers, and I believe we'll get there.
All right. By getting them, I want to assure the members of this audience that we are going to reduce 10 days planning approval to 2 days when we get there. Amen. Yeah, so the next question is for LASPEMA. What are the roles of LASPEMA in preventing building collapse in Lagos State?
Well, if you look at the mandate of the agency, and the mandate is, like I said earlier, gotten from Lagos State Urban and Regional Planning and Development Law, 2010, as amended, 2E, talking about determination of a place of infrastructural facilities and the economic activities. And 2N is talking about determination of the place, the position, the manner in which an urban furniture shall be affixed to any land in Lagos State. So, and the agency is actually in charge of informal land. So basically we are looking at temporary structures. So temporary structures is where that's what we allow to be put on the informal urban spaces and incidental open spaces. So, and I'm not too sure you want to have some of these urban furnitures collapse, except for signages. And I think to a large extent, that's why the law says that the manner in which such urban furnitures shall be affixed, some of them depending on the height, depending on the size, and of course where the positioning, the wind position, where the wind is coming from, and all of that will definitely give us a directive as to how and the manner in which such signage shall be affixed to that informal urban space or incidental open space. So we are not likely to have collapse. Most of the time, collapse happens on the formal land where Lagos State Physical Planning Permit Authority superintend. So I think, let me...
Yes, it answers the question very well. So
Thank you.
I'm bringing another question therefore, sir.
Yes, sir.
Would you mind sharing some further details, although brief, of your organization's actions on ensuring that illegal structures are not built on those areas they are not supposed to be built? You know, whether it's temporary structures or make buildings, you know, pipelines on electric cables, or along canals, or places that are supposed to be right of ways and stuff like that.
Okay, now let me say this. The challenge and the problem of the built environment, especially in Lagos State, is a very complex one. Very, very complex. And so when people say, Lagos State, you have too many la 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 la, I say yes, you have so many la 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 la, but you don't forget that we also have so many problems to be solved. Okay, I'll give you a typical example. The informal urban space that I manage, and I see these things on daily basis, even though I have not started full implementation, because I need to be guided by the laws. And I also know that our people must also be encouraged or be engaged to let them know that this critical area actually accounts for the beauty, security, the environment, ease of movement of goods and services, and all of those is communication line. Like Louis Scribble says, town planning is actually the determination or ordering the use of land, character, siting of building, and communication lines, so as to achieve robust economy, aesthetics, and of course, livability. Now, the question is this. This informal urban space is actually where that determines the face and the urban face of any city. If you go to anywhere in the world today, that critical part of the urban face, it determines the beauty and of course movement of people around the city. So, but for us in this part of the world, we have left that part for quite some time now, and that's why we have what we have in that area. So today, we're working seriously in that regard. The bills are ready. We'll soon go to the State Assembly, and of course, everybody will be invited, to come and participate in the public engagement, so as to bring about a robust law eventually that will speak to the these informal urban spaces, because your property line like this, any inch outside that property line does not belong to you. That's number one. Your property line, any inch outside the property line does not belong to you. That's one. Two, you are expected to landscape that space.
The one that doesn't belong to me?
You say what?
That space that doesn't belong to me?
Yes. Because that place, I know that my brother can speak to that area very well. You see,
no, I was
you are
just
not
asking for clarity.
No, yes, I can tell you for sure. You are not supposed, that place, that part of the place must be kept clean. Even the drainage in front of your house. So that is one thing that we must take away from here. Any other use other than that landscaping, it becomes an economic use, and that's where Laswema comes in to determine whether that kind of economic activity can actually be there. Because you will know, one woman that is frying dundu and akara may be creating traffic. We know some of these places. All of us will go and get dundu and akara. You say, go and get dundu and akara of Mama Silver for me. And then you will see a lot of people there. And then they create traffic at that point. Because the woman is operating on that setback. And then people now dovetail kind of onto the road. And then for those of us who are driving in the city, you now try to maneuver and all of that. Then you begin to record accident. So we don't want to. This government is actually committed to the lives and property of the people of Lagos State. And that will start from the management of informal urban spaces and incidental open spaces. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Okay, yes, thank you. The next question will go to Dr. Ajayi. Actually, for other panelists as well, but I'd like to very briefly address an issue I'm sure everybody has been waiting for, which is the issue of corruption and accountability. You have talked more than anyone else on the panel about digitizing your system and all that. So I would ask the question to you in two ways. How has this helped, manage corruption or reduce corruption and increase accountability and the efficiency of our systems? And what should we do differently and better to ensure this even more? 1 second, please.
Thank you.
Yes,
GM, we are extremely very sorry. We have members of the bar, senior members of the bar, who are supposed to leave us in a moment. So
okay.
Because of that, just give us a few minutes to have our learner silks. I'm so sorry about that. Who are our leaders and our mentors, and of course to also give us a bite of the legal, our perspective of the issues we're discussing here. I could hear the GM saying that he was waiting for some legal guide. Of course, perhaps this will also help in doing that. So in this order, can we have first and foremost Mr. Adeyinka Olumide Fosiga, SAN, please. Thank you very much. Let's give it up as they walk up to the stage.
Well, good afternoon or evening, ladies and gentlemen, and to our guests, to thank you for honoring our invitation and educating us. Mine is just a bit suggestions. I think the representative of, is it Laska? Laska. Tried to address the issue. When we talk about 10 days, 10-day clearing period or 3 months and all that, and I was saying that it's better, it's just slogan. It doesn't really happen in reality. But one aspect of it that I think you could take away from here is on the issue of tax. When you are processing and then it gets to tax issue. What we see is that most of the policies of the government of the state is about looking for a way to catch you, you know. So it's like a trap, you know. You are just waiting. When they come, okay, you have to pay tax, even bail and all that. That's what you do. I do understand the point that, okay, somebody has paid tax consistently, because when you say bring your tax clearance certificate, they actually submitted. And you see that the person has been consistent in paying his tax regularly. Say, for instance, okay, maybe he's been paying, you think that he's been paying like 100,000, now he's building a house in Ikoyi, and you think, oh, how can somebody paying 100,000, you know, be building a house in Ikoyi? And then you hold it up. And then you say, unless you then give somebody to say, okay, you have to pay, for us to approve this thing, you have to pay 5 million. I think that what should normally happen is that your agency should serve as an intelligence gathering, whatever, for the state's tax office. So that all you need to do is just to inform the LIRS that, look, this person has submitted this tax. When you are assessing him next time, you should know that he has a development in Ikoyi and he should not be paying this. So the state tax office would then know how to address that issue. Rather than, because when you say you have given the person temporary approval, it's been building. And then at that point of tax, you are holding up everything. Workers can no longer work. You know, because once you say you cannot continue, you have workers who are feeding daily from that project site. They can't work again because you are holding up the thing. So I think that you could do it that way. It may be more, you know, helpful to the society if we go about it that way, rather than just using it as a ploy to extort money from people. Okay, the DPP say, why I say yes, you know, when you give that power to make that kind of decision, even when your papers are correct, some of us, because they are not spirits, they are also Nigerians, some of us, even when the papers are correct, they see it as an opportunity, and then say, well, since I have the power to determine whether your tax is correct or it's not correct here on this project now, your tax papers, I find it, you know, not compliant, so come and pay, and then you begin to negotiate, you know. Sometimes they take more for their pockets than they collect for the government. I mean, I'm sorry, I don't mean any to insult anybody, but that is what happens in reality. Then the second thing, because we as lawyers, we are bothered about the effect of some of these things. I don't want to, I think Mr. Femi Falana will bear this out. He's a witness. I started living in Lagos from my law school years, normally coming to visit, but from my law school years, which was 87. Mr. Falana's office at that time, Lao Akaba Shogun, somewhere in Ibute Meta. And I also worked with Commissioner Oshobu, whose office was also, you know, the place we call Okobaba or whatever now. It was just a small settlement. They used to sell whatever. And right in our presence, it developed into a huge city, you know, and it just kept on growing gradually. Is there no way we can find a solution? When the place already developed and then you go there and demolish, you are watching when the thing is, you know, going on, when it's growing. In fact, some of these buildings you say are illegal or whatever, your people go there, they see. In fact, they have approvals. And then suddenly you go back and say, oh, they are building on drainage, you are going to demolish. What were you doing? There's a case of an estate somewhere in, I think Lekki or somewhere. It's actually, you could see it, that they were encroaching on the drainage and all that. But it's a huge estate. The state cannot claim not to have seen it. And many of us are victims. We don't build estates, we only buy houses. And then you buy your house, you move in, suddenly the state government will come and will bulldozer and demolish. Is there no way we can put in, that's one example. Let me give you another example. And it happened, you know, after this whatever. You know, the whole of Lekki Aziz, the corridor. I moved to a place called VGC, earlier part of the civilian, I can't remember exactly whether it was 2001 or 2002, you know. you could count the number of houses. You have the Chevron came after, then you had Mobile. From Mobile, you moved to Chevron. So it was all like virgin land, you know. So the state government had the opportunity to actually ensure that place didn't turn into the eyesore that it is today by ensuring that, you know, places are properly planned. The money-less when they come, you know. You can tell them, okay, we are giving you the right to the land and all that, but do the roads, put in place the infrastructure. If we see any building in this place without all these things in place, we will demolish it. And you warn people. It is not when the place has already been developed and become a slum, so to say, that you now wake up one day, take your bulldozers and start demolishing, you know. I think we could find a way around that. The third one that I would like to say, I don't know whether it's not possible to set up some kind of commission. You know, our setbacks, road setbacks, when you move, you see these people you say sell akara or whatever, mechanics, you know. When you move on our roads, it's so dirty. So, and the reason is, I have my house, you've given me the line, this is where you're supposed to. But of course, you have a frontage. Before you know it, you find the shops. Before you know it, another person is coming there and all that. Is there no way that the state can set up some kind of commission to take charge? Okay, take charge. It has economic value. You know, all this setback and the roads and all. Can we have some kind of commission that will actually take proper control of? If there's such an agency, I must say then that we have to make it more efficient. Don't allow, if the land is there and somebody has need for it, they will jump there and start, you know. Can't we, for instance, say, okay, you know, this area, you want to build some kind of shops on those things, people will go there and, you know, things like this will make this place, you know, our environment cleaner, more, you know, saner and all that, so that it's not just everybody just for vulcanizer here, you know, up to IKEJA and all those places, so the so-called high, you know. So some of these things, if the state government can look at it, and then I believe that the conflict between your agencies and we lawyers maybe will be reduced a bit, because we criticize you because what you do. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, yes, that's better. So we will also have another learned silk in the person of Mrs. Toyin Basharon. Let me just come over so we don't have to bother you. Thank you.
I thank you for this opportunity. As they said, my name is Toyin Basharon. I'm from Lagos branch, and we keep to time. Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here, actually. I have a series of challenge with the panel. And when I say the panel, I'm trying to talk to power. I hope I can crave your indulgence to speak truth to power. Okay, thank you. My learned brother Silk, Mr. Fusika, has said a little bit about it, but I don't, maybe because he's where the big boys are, he's not really feeling it like somebody like me who stays in Surulere. Now, first of all, on the issue of tax, what are we talking about, really? Lagos State tax system is electronic. If you pay tax, or whatever you pay in the form of tax, LIRS, it is computerized. Once you go to their site, you get the details of all the taxes paid. In fact, when we were applying for the silk, Lagos became the model, because just punching and you print, I was able to give them my tax history for 10 years. So when Madame now says it is the issue of tax that clogs, it gives the impression that there is a disconnect between the departments or the organizations responsible. There is no interrelationship, because she should be able in her office to get onto the LIRS site, put the person's tax number. We all have numbers. They used to give us a card with a chip, like our ATM cards. But the thing didn't last. In fact, I have my chip now that I just handle carefully, you know, but it is there. You can ask for their tax number. You put it in, and she gets the history. Then we're talking about assessment. It is the state that assesses. If I have a property in IKEJA, I could have inherited it from my father. Would you tax me because I inherited it? You see, these are all the disconnects. We really must sit down and plan. Now, when it comes to planning in Lagos, I don't see why, with all due respect, sir, and I'm saying it with bended knees. I come from Lagos. Isaleko, for that matter. Now, I don't see why the person who was on the seat, whether he's retired or not, who was responsible when they were building on canals, should not be held to account. Why not? Then, thirdly, you say you're talking of setbacks. You're talking of the informal sector. Isn't there provision for intermittent inspections? And then why is it that if I, like on my area now, I live in a close, but suddenly there is about to come up almost like a 10-floor hotel in that enclave. That is going to bring its challenge. We have children in that area. Very soon, things will start to happen. The whole of Main Street, Adelabu, Adeniro, Gusonya, Ogu, there is an influx of clubs. What is happening with noise? My neighbor, I bought my property from LSDPC. So we have an LSDPC complex, which we found attractive. Now, he has 6 dogs. Whether I like it or not, I have to wake up because the dogs will bark. And we have reported to Mr. Lasepa, sir, so many times, do it electronically, do it this way. Nothing is happening. So I think our institutions, without due, I'm talking on bended knees. It's time we look inwards. It's time we stop all this turning, let's do this thing. And there was a time in Lagos, you dare not put anything on the sidewalk. It was a government not too far away. Lagos was beautified. Lagos changed. So where have we missed it between then and now? So I think it is more of us in the ministry and how we police our policies, really. That is the problem. Thank you very much. I'm sorry if I offended anyone.
Thank you so very much. That was wonderful. Wonderfully delivered. I'm sure that's too deep, but it will be attended to at the right time. So we should also equally give opportunities to. Now we'll have, because Mr. Femvano is leaving us, shortly. Let me just quickly. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I thank the branch for the wonderful program. No, I can say. I want to thank the branch for the wonderful program, particularly honoring my wife this morning. Unfortunately, I was held up in the Supreme Court. I'm just coming from Abuja. I think I would like to thank the members of the panel and the branch for organizing this program. I think we have learned a lot from the government side. Now that we are trying to let them also have our own, whatever. I think for me, people are talking about tax. Don't let's go far. I'm serious. A member of my family has just delivered a baby in the UK. And I asked her, how much did you pay? We wanted to give some assistance. He said, no, we didn't pay a dime because the NHIS is working here. And that apart from not paying, they are going to give me milk for the next 3 months, and nurses will come to our house to look after the baby. People want to pay taxes, not just taxes, but they want to find out. Why should I have a borehole in my office and in my house? We used to have even tap water on the street in Lagos. Now cholera is killing people in Lagos. We should be ashamed. So if you are going to talk about taxes, we also want to find out what are the taxes being used for. But I think the suggestion, madam, is that process if somebody has submitted papers. and then just inform the tax people. This guy, we have just processed a property for him in Ikoyi. Please go after him. That's number one. Number two, man. The greatest violators of the town planning law in Lagos are local government officials. Everywhere, shops, what do they call it? Shops, kick clams, spring up, and you don't do anything. Right now, sir. And this one, if nothing is done, I'm going to file an action. Very close to the Lagos High Court, Sura Market or something. All manners of shops have risen up, and they're still building them. No parking space anywhere. Do you know where I'm talking about? In Lagos now. Suram Market. And I asked myself, in this age and time, how can we still, nobody in the planning department felt we should be having malls now. In this age and time. So please, let us do something about that place before you destroy that road completely. The other ones are, and it's everywhere, every chairman of Lagos. The first program is to build all manners of markets, which they distribute among themselves, their wives, and people in Alausa. Because we try to find out what is all this, what are these markets for? He said they are not for us alone. No. We have to give this, we have to give that. So that's also important. The other one, and I think, madam, you must admit this, you do not have enough officials to go around the city daily and ensure that properties are not developed in defiance of the law. And that is the only way to stop. Somebody has put up a 5-story building. And I asked, were the people in the ministry sleeping? And after somebody has spent about 500 million or 1 billion naira, you now move to go and demolish. Whereas government is required by the constitution to be humane. This problem can be solved if you have enough officials to go around. Because all they do, madam, is, I'm sorry to say this, they have this marker, red. Some say it's an invitation to treat, to negotiate. Because before you know it, the marker, the thing has disappeared. So it is important for us to have engaged enough officials to carry out the business of, identifying those who are violating the law. And sir, each of them must have proper job description. The one of all these akara, alakara, and whatever, I think it's embarrassing for us to make some of these public statements. What is the law about? It is to prevent burning of properties. And there's no one who can complain that you cannot have your gas and your alakara destroying, causing fire incident. We must do something about that. The other point, madam, I thank you for this 10-day thing. Madam, in your description of the approving procedure, there was no reference to the master plan of Lagos. Master plan. Madam, before you can approve anywhere, you must go to the master plan. It's a hotel meant for Adelabu Street in Surulere. It's a filling station designed to be in Alausa. So it is very important. There is no way you can talk of physical planning in any modern society without reference to the master plan. And that is why we're in a mess. One white man came recently, I think it's about 90-year-old man. One of the former old colonial masters. He was crying in Ikoyi. So what's that? What happened, sir? He said this was not the Ikoyi we left. And we all travel. And this is important, man. We all travel. Today, in the city of London, that many of our people go to, even sometimes to watch match. Yes, you know what I mean? There are, in the city, playing grounds where children, parks, today, man. And it's unfortunate, we have council monthly sanitation. On the day of monthly sanitation, you will see young men, boys, playing football on the highway. Because that was the only opportunity they had. Whereas 50, 40 years ago in Lagos, we had parks. You still go to Cotonou here, Togo, Lomé, you will see parks. Can we also try, madam, to retrieve some of these properties that have been built on parks so that we can reclaim the city? Please, I want to thank you for what you are doing in modernizing, particularly this noise thing. And beyond your app, please, I beg you, you must also prosecute some people. A man has just been prosecuted in Benin because the man went to the court, to the police. My children don't sleep in the night. During the day, they sleep in school because somebody makes noise to disturb the neighborhood every day. So we also have to make an example of some of the people who are disturbing people in Lagos. Just one or two, including these church people and whatever, because science has gone beyond making us all over the place. And then these people have dogs who do not allow people to sleep all night. It's part of noise pollution. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir. So we will equally have, for 1 minute before we come back to this side of the hall, the Director of Public Prosecution just, thank you very much.
I think I'm going to sound like a lone voice in the wilderness. I think the reason is this. It's very, very important as well that no good things come to reality without revenue. So the state will also need more revenue in achieving these good things that Chief, yes. I think also in terms of assessment, the problem we have there is not inability to assess. You are only effectively assessed based on information given to the assessor, isn't it? So when people provide information that would not give economic value to their real wants, then the assessment process is going to be flawed. It will take some time before getting. So it will be like a dog, a cat and mouse trace. But when people are more proactive in giving sincere figures to the authority, then the assessment process is quicker. So that's why I'm employing for those of us who are lawyers who represent clients to encourage them to give as much information as possible to assist in the assessment process. It is much to do with under assessment rather than no assessment. I know we'd have to catch up with I think it's the time that they come forward that we're able to get a true reflection of what. I think we need to also be more proactive. Then in terms of prosecution, I'm always available to work with I know we have a lawyer there who can always liaise with me. I think we need to be more rigorous in our prosecution in terms of environmental breach, noise pollution, and other related matters. And those are the few remarks.
So, and lastly, for that, I will also have Mr. Adebayo Arun, a director in the Ministry of Justice, who has ably represented the Attorney General.
Well, I think I've taken enough notes. A lot has been said, and we believe that the reason why we have this kind of program is for us to learn how to move forward. Like I said during the speech of the Honorable Attorney General, we are ready to partner with MBA IKEJA branch on how to ensure that we have an efficient system. And one of the things that we have observed is that some of our processes are very slow. we need to do a lot about it. And for us in Ministry of Justice, we are also considering enacting a law that will enhance the ease of doing business in Lagos, because we believe that property is one of the major revenue factor in Lagos State. So we are working on it, and I can assure you that very soon we will notice changes and all the complaints will be minimized. Thank you so much.
We are grateful, sir. Architect, so I will yield the floor to you. I'm sure we will leave here by 5, God willing.
Sorry, before you yield the floor, I want to thank our senior advocates, and I want to thank all our contributors, because I want there to be a takeaway. Everything that our elders and leaders here have said, they're very apt, and we're glad to have you here, because I keep stepping in and out, to attend to some other things, and I want there to be a takeaway. I know that there's this window that was open for us to regularize, and I think this July is the last month of July. I want to plead, passionately plead, now that we have you all here, if you could extend that window for more people. You see, because there is no sensitization, no proper, no. I'm telling you sincerely. Mr. Arun just said that they will be ready to collaborate. You see, we have to create platforms and, avenues for people to have this information. Most people are not privileged to listen to these things. Some people don't even have lights in their house. That's the reality. That's the reality. So we met with the building collapse people, and we said that we will plead with you to please, so that we could help you to sensitize the public to take advantage of this, so that you don't pull their houses down. It's very, very important. My humble plea. Thank you very much.
So after the guidance, you can go ahead, please.
Thank you again, sir. It's so much fun being among lawyers. I'm sure the lawyers agree with this. Yes, so Dr. Ajaita, over to you. The question on corruption and accountability, and what your organization is doing or should do to reduce corruption and decrease accountability and better efficiency. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I think just before I answer that, it might be important for me to just respond to one or two of these comments rather. And I very much appreciate the fact that people have raised these things, particularly around noise pollution. There's almost nobody in Lagos that doesn't have problems with noise pollution. For dogs in particular, the only clause is that the law says that the Ministry of Agric should take those animals away. Now, so it means that even after LASEPA has established that you have dogs in your neighborhood giving us problems, short of shooting at them or poisoning them, we escalate. Yes, we escalate right to Ministry of Agric. And Ministry of Agric is supposed to come and pack them. But that takes a while. In fact, we currently even sue people directly. We have about 27 cases in court right now on noise pollution. And this thing about people not sleeping, the entire Victoria Island is gone. In fact, let me make it even funnier. My commissioner has insisted, I currently live on the mainland, because of the number of complaints that come from Victoria Island alone. My commissioner has insisted that I must move to the island. You must live in the middle of that noise. Come and feel it. Why? Because there are about almost 60 clubs. The whole of Legali is reading with drug, and people are doing construction, so they have all kinds of workers and all those things. So there's a lot of work going into shutting down some of them because they are still in residential neighborhoods. One other thing we must note is that areas morph. They sort of transit from residential to mixed use to commercial over time. I grew up in Surulere. I grew up on Benson off Akerele. And I know exactly what that entire neighborhood looked like growing up. I went to Igbobi College. I can remember walking all the way. And I know exactly what we had. When I drive into Surulere now, it's a whole eyesore. And some of the areas like Adenogusa that used to be residential, by the reviewed plan, master plan now, they are now mixed use. By reviewed master plan, many of them have turned to commercial. Akerele is absolutely commercial now. Adenogusa is absolutely commercial. Some of these things have changed. However, if your building is going more than 4 floors, you must get an environmental impact assessment from LASEPA. Unless that approval comes, you may not be able to progress with LASPA. So that's another stumbling block that we put in place for some of these things. If you are building a commercial property, there are certain things you must have in place. There are concerns around, SAN mentioned something around how cholera is in town and all of that. Short of building 100 or 200 toilets in public areas in Lagos, I can bet you 200 toilets in Lagos means that you have 10 per local government. 10 toilets in IKEJA cannot even serve Computer Village alone. But in the 90s, there was a law, there was a regulation in Lagos, in the old sanitation law, that says every business must have a publicly accessible toilet. Yes, so every filling station now must have a publicly accessible toilet. Yes, every eatery, restaurant must have a publicly accessible toilet. Every car shop, every school must have a publicly accessible toilet. That is not the same one that the students use. So enacting and enforcing that thing and increasing advocacy around it and making sure that we ourselves take responsibility, community-led advocacy, is what will actually resolve the cholera problems and will make toilets more available or accessible. Lastly, on the comments, the issue around provision of water. Unfortunately, the Environmental Protection Agency globally has cross-cutting impact from energy to waste to water to health even. I was on the panel discussing the current cholera outbreak yesterday for the government. We lost the opportunity to reticulate the entire Lagos. And that came as a result of the influx of people. Night buses, trucks, the entire, I don't think, from second roundabout, you hardly can get a grip of construction activity. It is all kinds of trucks bringing bike men there every night, and then it just keeps growing. There's no border. So people have started to dig, everybody has a borehole in their houses. Access to water and access to clean water has become a personal responsibility. So USAID sponsored a research recently, and they confirmed that yes, there is access to water, but there is no access to government water. So we have water, but it is not government water. So we must now take personal responsibility to make sure that the water you use in your house is clean. Your overhead tank, you need to clean it at least twice a year. I'm guilty as well. I've not cleaned mine in 3 years since I moved to my house. But I also know, unfortunately, I stay just by a wetland in Magodo. Monkeys open our own overhead tanks. Yes, they open it, they drink. If you have a swimming pool in your house, with your camera, you see monkeys swimming, right? Because you are going to build close to wetland. Right, so I think that we now are pushing the agenda to say that, yes, we will reticulate certain areas. Priority areas are areas that have damaged water, underground water. There are 5 areas in Lagos that have damaged underground water. Because of oil bunkering. There's oil bunkering in Lagos, by the way. So because of oil bunkering, many of those pollutants have seeped into the ground. When they dig up water, they can't drink it. They can't even use it for anything. And of course, consequentially, houses are very cheap. You can buy a house for under 20 million naira in those areas because of this pollution. So those areas we have prioritized reticulation. Reticulation is starting now. We have started. For many other areas, it becomes more difficult as you build them up. But the fact that there's water in every household as a result of personal development, we must now make sure that everybody takes personal responsibility for purification and cleanliness. I personally will make sure that those dogs are evacuated. We have a dog cage in LASEPA, but the law says Ministry of Agriculture should park. Sometimes I go out of my way to park those dogs myself and then, just take responsibility for it. And I'll make that happen. For noise pollution and for clubs, churches, I think that, I don't know how we're going to do the law, but there must be a law that says you can't have more than 2 churches at 200 meters apart. And I say, why? Yes. Pharmacies, for instance. My background is medicine. You can't have more than 1 pharmacy within a 200 meters distance.
It's for the town planning.
Yes, but it has to first be in the law.
No, they approve. The law is there.
No, the law doesn't say that you cannot have more than one noise generating activity on a street. On yes. Okay.
It is from that implementation policy that we say this section of the law, this is how the state executive has sat down to implement it. We will not be, there was a time Mr. Ashafa decided on his seat that henceforth this number of streets in Lagos will be named after the Russia. No more in some areas. And it's working to, that's what the others meant and they are following. So you see, sir, the real issue is for us. I'm so sorry. My father retired as a civil servant,
yes.
but the civil service is different now. You see, everything is looking somehow, and this is our Lagos.
Yes.
And we need to sit down and look at it. You talk about influx. There was a time they used to put them back to the bus and send them to the border of where they're coming from. Somebody comes up and says, maybe Mr. Falan of human rights, they come up and say it is their right of free movement of persons. It is true, but as far as Lagos is concerned, we can control it. If I go out, there was a time my office used to be on Camden Street. Suraj, who was the commander in Lion Building, policed Lagos Island. Once they find them wandering, they bundle them, take them to Takwa Bay, another ministry there. They go and bring stones. By the time they bring them back in 6 months, I used to walk till 11 and no area boy would come there. What has happened now? Everywhere is dead. It's as if we're overwhelmed, and it shouldn't be. We should be in control. They should, when they come and they have no abode, pack them, take them somewhere. You know, that's just it. We just have to put our foot down. Otherwise, the East is coming to Lagos, the North is coming to Lagos. What are we going to do? I mean, please, I'm sorry, I'm just desperate.
I know. Thank you very much. I think that I should just close it there because we are telling too many truths. Obaka, yes.
Which used to be for factories and whatever.
Yes.
Because some of the factories have shut down. The government is allowing that place to become totally. And I have pleaded with the authorities. I've pleaded with the authorities. We may have an opportunity in this country to return to have factories in those places. Why are we allowing everywhere to become a church? In Lagos, no. And the government can decide. These areas we are not going to approve for churches or mosques. Please.
Thank you.
Okay, I have taken note of these things. I will escalate to the appropriate people, particularly the Commissioner for Environment, and then we'll make sure that some of these things return to where they were. Most of the IKEJA areas that are now churches used to be factories. Ikosi Road is now a whole church estate. You know, so I think those things are valid. We will take note of them. The ones that fall directly within my purview, I will immediately address them, and I would escalate the ones that I need to escalate. Apologies for the inconveniences that Lagos has put all of us through, but since we have the responsibility now, we will take the responsibility. And I feel very bad for Surulere in particular, because it is like home for us, and we will restore Surulere as much as we can. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yes. Okay. Yes, sir. We are indeed very grateful. We are moving to the closing, but of course, I will still yield to architects so you can take at least 2 questions. I have a directive of the chairman to have 2 questions so that people can also leave and also plan for tomorrow. However, my branch chairman has just sent me this errand, but very important, that you help us, GM Lasepa, reach out to the commissioner, that because of all of these issues, as you can see, and I'm sure you've taken note, all of these very, very important issues that are relevant to our lives as Lagosians, the bar needs the commissioner's presence. In fact, if it will take us to earmark a particular day, you know, the environment, like you say, has to do with our lives. If we fail in running the environment very well, then we have failed in running our lives well. So this is the very important, you know, demand. Do we call it a request, not a demand? So you don't say lawyers are very, very well. So I'll leave that to the chairman. Thank you very much. So architect, please, let's go ahead and then we can have a closure in about 10 minutes, please. Thank you very much.
As most of the speakers have already spoken on the reasons, but just to throw a bit more light on the reason why I talk of synergy. If you submit your document to the Ministry of Lands for either for approval or CFO or governor's consent, they will tell you to go and come back because they would want to send that document to the Surveyor General's office to be sure that the size of the land corresponds with what you have, and to be sure that from their own end, the land is free. That's one. And then they send it back to the Ministry of Land. I want to suggest that the way they do it to the Surveyor General, they should also send it to the Ministry of Environment. The reason is because most times when you hear demolition for properties that have CFO, they tell you, oh, because there is supposed to be a drainage or something close, something like that. Now, the individual as a person, how will the person know that there's supposed to be a drainage on that particular place? And why will the Ministry of Land give approval when they know that there's supposed to be a drainage? The Learned Silk has rightly said that there is a map. Yes, there is a map for Lagos State, a master plan, which shows how Lagos has been designed. So I believe if there is a synergy between these ministries, these errors will be averted. Then the last one I want to suggest is public participation. And I want to appreciate the chairman of this noble branch for the plea he just made now as regards extension of time. So if the time is extended, the public will be sensitized as to what the state is asking them to do within a particular window period. Now, if they fail to take advantage of it, then the state can now go ahead and do whatever they want to do. Yes, I know ignorance of the law does not excuse anybody, but however, when the people are carried along and a decision is taken, they will not complain about that decision. It's just like giving someone an opportunity to be heard in court. If you fail to take advantage of it, whatever decisions that comes therein, you will bear it. So public participation is what I'm advocating for, and a synergy between the Ministry of Environment, the Ministry of Land, and the Surveyor General's office. Thank you.
Dr. Alex Uriri is my name. I'm of the University of Lagos and of this IKEJA branch. Profound respect to my learned Sikh and seniors. My comment is a very short one. I'm making reference to environmental law implementation in some of the residential estates in Lagos. For example, the Jakonde estates, with special reference to that of the one in Okiafa, for instance. There was a time the demolition took place, breaking down of the shanties around the block of flats and bungalows. But I witnessed that by experience around 2016, 2017. But now, before the eyes of the government and these officials, all those shanties bringing about externalities of security challenges, they are back. Maybe one of the learners proposed that the officials are not enough. They need to, Lagos State government need to make more recruitment so that their eyes will be to the ground, because there are plenty of security challenges in those estates. I know what applies in Okiafa and some of these estates. It applies in Lekki, Surulere, and all that. It's for the livelihood and security of all Lagosians. Thank you.
You're welcome, sir. Okay, so in just for the sake of time, I have to be upstanding as well. In just 1 minute, just final concluding remarks to their comments and to yours as panelists, one after the other. Thank you, sir.
I'll just say this has been an engaging session. I think that there's definitely take home for me, and I think most people here can also pick one or two things that we need to do better. I think that general environmental protection and environmental management is a collective responsibility. There's no way government is going to know that your neighbor has started building a new shanty or an externality to his building unless you escalate. I won't even know there are dogs in your neighborhood or a club in your neighborhood most of the time unless you escalate. So you need to see and speak. Communicate with your local community, and then let them escalate immediately to government before it becomes something big. But I will look into the one in Okiafa. Thank you very much.
Thank you too, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. I just want to say here that all these problems that have been identified here today are actually in the front burners of the government of today. And I want to say with all sense of responsibility that the governor that we have today is actually looking at some of these things. Governor Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu. And I would say one of those areas is the activation of the EGIS. For the very first time, the government of Lagos State is now having an SA, a special advisor in charge of EGIS and urban development. And what is EGIS here? EGIS here is going to capture the whole of Lagos. There's going to be already going on now. At least today we are up to like 40-50%, capturing of Lagos. And this means that we are capturing the houses as they are, where they are, as it is today. So, and then we also have in that, as part of that component, what we have what we call change detector. If you have a change of your roof, you have to do a change of your roof. You need an express approval from LASPA. You want to do change of your window, you need to change, you need to see. So that change detector will begin to tell us in our office, because let me tell you, we have over 5,000 building construction, an average of it going on in Lagos State simultaneously as we speak. Even at night, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m. is going on. Now, physical planning officers, how many of us, how many are we in this state? So these are some of the problems that everybody wants to put property in Lagos, because this is where it is happening. Now, two, I will speak quickly concerning these informal urban spaces. I told you earlier, we have not been doing anything. Again, this government appointed me, Tamplanada Isiosho, to be in charge and determine how we are going to be using our informal urban spaces. Because as we speak today, it has become a serious issue, which every one of us, we are all talking about here. So until that, the bill is here, we have done the bill. The bill is going to the ESCO. Mr. Governor has asked for it. And of course, it's going to be discussed at that point. And then on its way to the State Assembly, so that it can become, so we can now move in and begin to do the right thing. But first and foremost, I know that we have to do what we call stakeholders engagement. I, as a town planner, and also as Onwe Eko, I'm from Ikorodu, and I'm also a local government practitioner. I am a 7.5 years, practitioner, vice chairman in the Oshodi. It's all a local government. 3,000 people are transiting and transacting on daily basis in Oshodi. 3,000 transiting and transacting. What does that mean to you? They need toilet. They are generating waste. They need to move. How many of these spaces do we provide for them? Thank God for that interchange that we have there today that is, trying to help us solve that problem. And of course, what the former governor did there by dislodging that place. So look, I can tell you here today that the state government is working seriously. I told you, it's high-handed, it's complex. But I say again, we are working. For me, I've been there 2 years now, and I've been working on this bill. I've been going back and forth so that we'll be able to have something that will be robust. Yes, we don't want to. We know that our people are there in the informal place. They are in the majority. We need to think about the social side of it. We just don't want to send people out of that place because quite a number of them are actually breadwinners. A majority of these people are there. So what are we doing? For me, I am going to do what we call plan all these places. Can I tell you, I've had now today 3 types of initiatives that we are bringing on board. One of it, we have what we call Lagos kiosk. That Lagos, we are not going to be having this counter that we have all over. I did a survey and I found out that 166,000 trees have been felled to produce 1.2 by 1.2 size of a wooden counter that we call counter all over that people do. I have not put to measurement all those other kiosks that are made of wood and all of that. I've not put it to that. I've not put measurements to that. But I can tell you that 166,000. Now, of a timber of 5 feet girth and 24 feet length, do you know how many years it will take for that tree to become of that size? Have we planted back even on 1,000 trees, 2,000 trees, and we have cut out 166,000. That counter, again, is not sustainable. You have to maintain it. At least I did an estimate again. I said 20% of that 166,000 again will be used to maintain the wooden counter, because 6 months down the line, the thing is already throwing away the woman's wares. So these are some of the things that we are doing. And then, of course, you will say, how much does this kiosk will cost? So lawyers, we are bringing you in. Accountants, we are bringing you in. Everybody is going to come. We need to develop a financial engineering to take care of these people, because they don't have the money to actually purchase the kind of green initiative kiosk that we are talking about. They don't have the money. An average one will cost in the realms of, say, 400 to 500, 6,000. You understand what I'm saying now? So where is the money? So we need to put a financial engineering in place so that we'll be able to do what? How give these things to, allocate it to our people, and make sure that we put it at the right place. Georeference it. You cannot move it. That is where Lagos State is going. That is why my agency is trying to put in place now. And you will soon be seeing all of these things in recent time. By the time we are able to come up with that law, all of us are going to be part of this. And that is what the state government is doing. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
For time's sake, Mrs. Adjusted.
Thank you, sir. I just want to, sir, on issue of master plan, sir. I said it earlier when I was talking about pre-application, that you need to bring your survey plan. So, charting the survey plan, we are using the master plan. That is when we will be able to tell you, no, this cannot be allowed here. And when my senior colleague was talking, he was talking about ODP. It's still the same thing, operative development plan. So it's just like our Bible that we use, that is guiding us concerning granting of approval, sir. So we have it. And for Sura market, sir, I will take it up. Then for the market too, we're trying our own best, but
politics comes in there.
Therefore, amnesty, the extension of amnesty, we've written our own report, but we will appreciate if public will write to the governor, so that if governor receive letters, many letters, it will back up our own report, because we have written our report for extension. But if public also write, it will ginger.
IKEJA bar will take that up.
Therefore, public participation, we did it on all our social medias, and we even went out.
Yeah,
we've gone out about 3 times now, moving around.
We saw that, and that was quite commendable.
Yeah, so we did it. So for which other one? I think. Okay, for synergy. For us in physical planning, we have a synergy with, and that is, if you listen to the general manager Lasepa, we do send our file for clearance, and that is why I said if you want us to meet up with this 10 days approval, it's better you go to them, get the clearance, go to environment, go to LRS, and for LRS issues, sir, it's a serious issue.
Can you get it on your own?
When we started this window, we started granting an approval, and we, on our own, we were given directive that we should have a standardized task, and we debate on that standardized task, and we have some amounts. They are saying it's a property tax. Then we have our own amount that, okay, maybe Ikorodu should be paying 400,000, maybe VI and those places should be paying 1 million. And we started granting approval, but before we open our eyes, another directive came that we should refer back. So it's a power, and no, because they were saying they were relying on us for the generation of their own revenue. We should not be so. So we've written, we've done a lot of, we've met doctors. So God will help us, sir. But by the time, as a lawyer, by the time you are writing, there will be a change, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much to all our panelists. They are known in their offices as Ogas at the top, and they gave their time to come and speak with us. We are grateful. And of course, as you know, we are Nigerians. We will retaliate. So for us to retaliate that kind gesture, Barrister Bijo, you'll do the presentation of the plaques.
Very well. Thank you very much. In appreciation of your time and the resources with which you have fed us with today, we have for you. Can I have the branch chairman? The branch chairman, who will support the learned silk, Mr. Femi Falana, in helping us to present this plaque.
I have the honor, on behalf of IKEJA branch of the Nigerian Bar Association, to present this wonderful plaque and what? Yeah? To Dr. Babatunde Ajayi, GM Lasepa. Thank you very much for honoring our invitation and for your wonderful contribution. Thank you. Thank you. Yes? Yeah.
We also have this.
You also have this? conjunction with MBA and
BCPG.
BCCG. Benny, thank you very much. Kunle Bodu. Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you very much. Yeah. Yes, next. TPL. That's your shop. Thank you for your very wonderful contribution. On behalf of the IKEJA MBA, I wish to present this plan to you. So ask you to keep on your good work. Yes. And we are waiting for those bills that you are planning. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And let me also use this opportunity to say that the latest, actually, he may not remember me now, but he's one of those people that gave us leadership during the student days when we were in school. He gave us good leadership, and then with our daddy, late Kabashoro, Opeyemi Bamidele, and the other comrades, your leadership and those things that you gave to us there is actually what is still propelling us, even in the places of leadership today. And I want to tell you that we'll never disappoint you, and we'll always be there to also do the needful.
Thank you very much. As a matter of fact, when you were making your contribution, somebody was asking me, is this man an activist? Thank you very much. Yeah. Yes? Madam? Also a stamp planner. On behalf of the MBA IKEJA branch, I'm delighted and honored to present this flag to you, as well as the gift for your coming for this program and for your wonderful contributions. We are going to follow up on your suggestions, madam, particularly from the branch chair. Thank you very much, madam. Thank you, ma'am. Congratulations.
And let us see, for doing all that too, we have this for you too.
Oh, wow. Wow. Thank you.
Oh, wow. This is, where is Mr. Arun? Mr. Adebayo Arun?
On behalf of the MBA IKEJA branch, I'm delighted to present this flag to Lawa Mohammed Pedro, SAN. And this
a photo session will take place immediately.
Our very good friend, a very good friend of the branch, Mr. Arun Adebayo. Thank you very much. Our regards to the Honorable Attorney General. I'm happy you have listened very attentively. A lot of the suggestions here will have to go to the Ministry for processing. Thank you very much.
So the branch chairman can present this to the Leonard Silk.
Leonard Silk Advocate, thank you very much. You were here the last time we had this program, and you have been very supportive of the branch. And this is a token of our appreciation. Some other senior advocates would have left. You stayed here. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. And please appreciate the Leonard Silk Advocate one more time, please. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can we have Leonard Silk? Don't go yet, sir.
How about we put on please? All our guests, people from
all our guests, please. Mrs. Joseph, GM Lasepa.
Very well. Thank you.
Executive committee to get set. All the ESCO of the MBA IKEJA branch, please. The executive, please, closer, please.
The executive members, please come in. IKEJA branch? Yes. Yes. Sorry.
No, don't. Hold on, no. Okay.
Thank you.
Let the committee. No problem. By grace of God, the law week continues tomorrow. Please, by grace of God, we're having 2 programs tomorrow. We have a town hall meeting in the morning. And in the town hall meetings, we shall be meeting several agencies, EFCC, police, Nigeria Police Force that are coming tomorrow, the Federal Road Safety Commissions, the last man. Please, it's an opportunity for you. And also, we are also having our manifesto tomorrow. For as many that want to know the candidate, their content. All those who have been seen online, want to see them live, you have the opportunity tomorrow to come and see them, giving you all what they have for you for the next 2 years. Please, tomorrow is loaded. Let's take that advantage to be here by 10 a.m. tomorrow. See you again. Thank you.